Hey, what's up? I'm LP, and I want to talk to you about what your basic process of going through your day of shooting your project. And it's basically what we call the process is block, light, and shoot. So this process is basically how your day should flow when you're shooting scenes during the day. You shoot one scene and then you move on and shoot the next scene. So every time you want to block the scene, you light it, and then you shoot it. So I'll kind of break down the steps and what they should look like for your day. What is blocking? So blocking is basically just figuring out what your actors are physically doing and where they're doing it in the room that you're shooting. So, is someone sitting and then someone standing? Are they both sitting? Do they start in one room and then walk to the next room? That's what you're figuring out when you're blocking the scene. So the first thing you're gonna do in the morning is, your first AD, your director, your actors, and probably your DP are gonna go to the set where you're gonna be shooting, and you're gonna do a private rehearsal. So while everyone else is getting ready, and in the morning, you're in there doing a private rehearsal with your actors for that scene, figuring out the blocking. So you'll run through the scene a couple times, and then the actors will hopefully if you have good actors, they'll try to find some busy work for themselves to do in their scene if nothing's specifically written in the script. So, they're gonna try to find something to do or somewhere to be that maybe, in the script it says they're over here, but actually in the physical location, it's better if they're over in a different area and they're doing something slightly different. So then your first AD will call in all the key positions of the crew, the art department, the key grip, the gaffer, the camera team, anyone else that needs to see what's going to happen in that scene is gonna be in there. And then they'll do a rehearsal for the crew and also a marking rehearsal. So the second AC will have their tape roll ready to go, and then they'll run the scene and do a rehearsal for everyone to watch so that everyone can see what's going on. So once the rehearsal is done, the first AD will send all the actors to hair, makeup, and wardrobe, and then now all the crew is gonna get ready for the scene. So that's when we move on to step 2, light. So the DP will then say, okay, cameras will be here and here, and then they'll talk to the gaffer and the key grip about how they wanna light it, and then the art department will make sure they've got the frame filled with their set dressing. So then once the scene is lit, the cameras are in position, and the scene's all dressed, so then the first AD will call in the actors, and then you shoot the scene. You've blocked it, you've lit the scene, and then now you're shooting it. So then once you've shot the scene, you've got all your coverage and your camera angles, and it's time to move on to the next scene, you do the same thing, rinse and repeat. So you move on to your next area. Maybe it's in the same room, or maybe it's in another room, or wherever, and then you go through it again. You block it with the actors, and then you bring everybody in to see it, and then you light it, and then you shoot it. So that's basically what your day should look like, is every scene you wanna block it, light it, and shoot it. Otherwise, if you're trying to block the scene and light it at the same time, you're just gonna be chasing yourself around in circles because things are always changing until you've got it figured out just right. Your camera angles are gonna change, the way you light it's gonna change depending on where your actors are standing. And so it's best to separate them. You don't wanna try and bring everybody in and try to do this all at one time. It's just gonna be mass chaos. So, you block it, figure out what you're gonna do, then you light for that blocking, and then you shoot it, and then you go to the next scene and you do it again. If you haven't seen the top 2 tips for director's video, I highly recommend that you watch that as well, and then take what you've learned from both of these videos and combine them, and you'll bring your filmmaking to a much more professional level. I hope you enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button for me. I'll see you in the next one. Going off walkie.